Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky here from Most Valuable Podcast, here to bring you, like I have every week this NFL season, my top 5 pickups in fantasy football this heading into week numero cuatro. And if you're new to the videos, here's how it works, especially for the pickups. All of these guys, I try to keep it under 40%. So that means in ESPN leagues, because that's what I use as the standard, these guys are owned in 40% or less of ESPN leagues. And actually this week, as I'm looking at my top 5 right now, all of these guys are, I've got a bonus for you because these guys are owned in only 25%. So 25 and below for this one. So these are guys that, especially this week, you may be able to pick up and you may be able to get for a big steal, especially this week. And starting out the list at number 5, I have Bilal Powell. And you may be sitting here going, well, Ricky, he's only got, let's say, like 7 points here, 7 points there. I think his highest was 9 in week 2. But the way I see it with Powell is he's getting 30 touches a game in both the rushing and receiving categories. If he's getting 7 to 9 points just off of that, just wait until he finally punches it in to the end zone, especially when we're getting into a time if you have a Titan running back or a receiver need a flex spot filled. If you have a Patriot guy, you need a running back, or probably this would be more in the flex situation. If you need that filled for a bye this week or moving forward, this could be the time to steal Powell because he's owned in 24.4% of ESPN leagues. So I'd go ahead and snatch him up right now before we get into bye season. Then at number 4, Carlos Williams of the Buffalo Bills, 23.6% owned in ESPN leagues. And the way I see it is he's having some big point, double-digit point games and a backup role. Yet again, this is another one. If you have like maybe Dion Lewis or Bishop Sankey, or you're just like, man, I don't trust my running back because Amir Abdul kind of fumbles and only got 9 points last week. You know what? Williams may be an option. Yeah, he's the backup to Shady in Buffalo, but he's doing a pretty good job. Fantasy owners would be happy, especially this week, the Bills going up against the G-Men. So number 3, this is a guy that is also, he was one I jumped on this past week because I really needed a wide receiver in one of my leagues, and it turned out to be a blessing, especially in that league. Rashad Matthews of the Miami Dolphins, he's owned in 16.1% of ESPN leagues, and the way I see this one is, yeah, he's had a 20, I think last week or the week before, he had a 20-point game for fantasy owners. He's becoming a double-digit option in the fantasy game. I'd go ahead and pick him up. Even if you're not going to start him this week, pick him up. We're getting into bye season. You're going to need a wide receiver to fill in. And hey, if you need one right now, Julian Edelman's on the bye this week. So you may want to go ahead and take Matthews. Oh yeah, by the way, he's going up against the Jets. That I'm pretty sure they give some good points to wide receivers. However, Matthews is going to be a quality option for the Finns. Then at number 2 and number 1, both of these come from the same game this week, Chicago against the Raiders. And both these guys are black and gold. You've got number 2, Derek Carr, owned in 19.8% of ESPN leagues. You may be saying, well, Ricky, Derek Carr was a pickup last week. Why is he a pickup again? Because not many people listen. 9% of you guys listen to me. Last week he was about a 10-point-something%. Now he's a 19.8% owned in ESPN fantasy leagues. Go ahead and get this guy. He's had 2 20-point games, or if it's not 2 20 points, it's an 18 and a 20. He's becoming a option for fantasy owners. Oh yeah, and by the way, he's going up against the Chicago Bears, that if you're in like living under a rock, the Bears, all they did was punt last week against the Seahawks. So there's a good chance that Derek Carr could be on the field a lot this Sunday in Chicago. Then number 1, also the black and gold, got to go with the Raider defense this week. 1.2, this is the steal of the week. 1.2% of ESPN fantasy leagues. You got to pick these guys up for this week. If you got the Patriot defense and you need a defense, you got the Titan defense, you need a defense. Go ahead and get these guys. They're going up against the Bears. Like I said, the Bears, all they did was punt last week. That's going to be more options for the Raiders special teams. Oh, and by the way, the offense in Chicago isn't that good, so you may want to go ahead and just pick them up for defensive purposes. Could be a big week for the Oakland Raiders against Chicago in week number 4. Well, that's going to do it for my pickups here for week number 4. Go ahead and tell me down below who I may have missed, who shouldn't have been on this list, who was on this list. Yeah, like I said, who was on this list and shouldn't have been on it, who should have been added. Let me know down below in the comment section. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Ricky Widmer. Go ahead and follow Most Valuable Podcast at Most Valuable Pod. I want to thank you guys for checking out this video. Go ahead, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and all that good stuff. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Hey guys, like the video? Then hit that subscribe button. But if you liked it even more, you should check out our Patreon page. We have a lot of different rewards and goals for those of you who would love to support us. So make sure to click that link down in the description to check out those pretty kick-ass rewards.